Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to introduce the real funny millionaire. She is a comedian. She is, can I say, one of the first like computer science PhD candidates from China to the US? Or
I don't know if it's the first, but I definitely am one.
okay, awesome. She's literally the funny millionaire. She is traveling everywhere. You may see her on TikTok. You may see her on just various shows all around the country. Bernice, yay, how are you doing?
Oh my God, thank you so much for having me. I'm doing great. We just got into LA last night. So happy Chinese New Year to you.
Yes, oh my God, happy Chinese New Year to you too. What zodiac animal are you in the Chinese horoscope?
I am a pig.
My mom was a pig too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, Drew.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I got made fun a lot when I was a kid because I was also chubby. So people always say, "Yeah, yeah, you're chubby. You eat too much," and
But now you're a
and they always
dancer.
call me Drew.
And like I
Only
always
after I left China.
I always thought the pig was like has a blessed life. That's what I heard because like everyone would say to my mom, yeah, you have the good life, you're
Oh,
enjoying luxuries. That's what I heard from like people born the year of the pig. It's always the
oh,
goat
really?
that's
Really?
like right. That's what I heard. I mean, because
I just know that for pig, it's you're loyal and honest. That's the personality I got. And I recently I just I think my life is great now, but earlier life was pretty hard. So I blame my short forehead. My forehead is too short. They say if you have a big forehead, you have a good early life.
really? Oh, I did not know that. I'm learning
Uh,
something today. Awesome. So, oh my God, I have so much I don't even know where to start. I feel there's so many parallels in our lives. So you say
yeah.
you're you are like a canceled Chinese, but you're perfect American. So I have so many questions. So what is a canceled Chinese in your mind?
Well, the reason I use that is even before this cancel culture become like the cancel become a buzzword. When I became a U.S. citizen, right? Like, and the first time I go back to China to travel, I have to apply for a U.S. A visa to go to China because they don't. China does not acknowledge dual citizenship. So when I mail in my Chinese passport, I'm pretty sure you got the same thing, right? They cut it
Yeah,
up,
I
they
had to
cut your
cancel. I had
Chinese
to cancel.
passport, then
Right.
put a big stamp said canceled. So when I got it, I was very hurt. I was like, oh no, I'm canceled by the government. Official,
That's
like you get a
hilarious.
stamp.
Oh my God. That brings up so many memories. Oh my God. So
Yeah. So we are all canceled.
so right. Oh my God. You already have it, so I'm not gonna say that. But that's so true. So can you tell us like what was coming to America like?
What's it coming to America like? So I came to the States in 2004. Gosh, that was like 18 years ago now, forever long. And when I came, like because at the time, in China, I feel I was so suppressed with whatever I want to do. There's always people say no, you cannot do this, you cannot do that. And in my earlier life, my family, like my parents, they were in a very miserable marriage, but they refused to get divorced because of saving the face. So I just had a desire. I want to be away from home as far as I can, even though I didn't speak much English. And then like I went to Peking University, and so I lived in Beijing, right, for 4 years. And then I got into Purdue. It's in Indiana. So it's all of a sudden it's me, a girl doesn't speak much English. I don't know much. But I was determined I'm going to make it work. And then I actually didn't miss home very much. Um, and then the quick thing is like when I first arrived, you might have the same thing. Like the Chinese community was very nice in the beginning, especially the guys, because they were like, "Oh, a new girl, maybe can pick one up from the bus," But then because I somehow I went to a dance party, I was dancing, I met a guy. He's from the UK, and then we hit it off. And you know how when we learn English, we learn very basic, like, but it's a UK pronunciation.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we both say tomato, right? Like, and oh my God, there's so much chemistry. So I started dating this British guy, and then the Chinese community turned on me. Yeah, because they were so mad. Like the Chinese guys, just, oh, you just came and you don't date Chinese guys? How dare you? And they turned on me. They don't invite me to all the things, you know. So in the computer science, somehow my American friends or other international students adopted me because they were like invite me to parties. So I was kind of in this type of boot camp of go to parties. I don't understand anything they say, but I decided I'm just going to stay. And I asked the questions, what are you saying? They got so tired of explaining things to me. They pointed me to, oh, just use Urban Dictionary. So basically I learned my English from Urban Dictionary.
Wow.
which is pretty terrifying because everything is dirty. It's very perverted, whatever you say. Like even if you look up donuts, it's dirty. So
now I need to look up because I feel like I don't know what donuts means anymore, and I have to look
I mean, I feel like it's all the dirty sexual things. There's food. Like you ask
That's so
cream
funny.
pie is bad.
That's so funny. I can totally relate, and I totally understand. Like um there's just so much complexity with, like, Chinese guys. Like, I mean, they should know, like, the Chinese girls were aborted, and that's like, okay, there's a million of us still. Even if you
Yeah.
abort like half of us, there's still like at least a million. I'm just kidding, but I totally understand. And in terms of like, okay, so you, in my mind, it's like you're the perfect daughter. Like, you went to Beijing University, which for people listening who are not Chinese, that's like Harvard, and you're studying computer science. So it's like,
Yeah.
like you're like at the top, So what were your parents like sad to see you like leave to America? Like, because you achieved so much, what were their thoughts? Really, like, did you tell them after you got the visa? Like, how did they handle you going to America?
So I don't know if I am the perfect daughter. I think I was the perfect daughter until I got into high school, because I'm this weird kid. Because my parents, they quarrel so much, and I'm a big introvert. My biggest escape is study. I I am weird, okay? I enjoy study. I would lock myself in a room and role play the math teacher.
I think you froze.
I would teach myself the lesson. I break down. I am like total weirdo when it comes to study. I enjoyed it. But when I got into high school, can you still hear me? Oh no.
Yeah, so you were live
just
for a little bit and
juicy.
now you're back. Can you see me now?
Okay. Yeah, I can see you now.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I was just like
using the hotspot.
Okay, it's good. It's
okay. Where we were.
You just got cut off. You were role playing your math teacher.
Yeah, so that's before high school, and then my mom went to a different city to work. And then my dad had to follow her. So they went to a different city. I was in boarding school in high school, and our high school is very strict because like it's one of the best in our region. It's in Hubei, right? You know, Hubei Gaokao is like very intense, and so we're like strictly not allowed to date. You got to study. We get up every day at 6 a.m. and we study until midnight. That's every day for me. Wow. Yeah, because school ends at 9 p.m. and then I will go back and study until midnight. Wow. Yeah, and so that's very intense. But then at some point, I went to the high school. I was the number one in the city, so my name was on the newspaper. And yeah, so the teacher had very high expectations of me. But somehow I started like dating, like not dating, because in China you're not allowed to date, but you like a boy, the boy like you. And somehow when you got to know him by the teacher, it's a very long story. We got into big trouble. Like I remember I have to write an apology letter, like 检讨书. I will have to write 1,000 times. I have to go to the front of a class. I have to read in front of people. It was the biggest shame of the whole school. Yeah, and it was so like it was the hardest time of my life. And I haven't talked about this part in other people's podcasts because nobody would really understand what those time is like. And then the teacher would make a point to punish both of us in front of the class. Like they will ask impossibly difficult question, and then will point at me, say, hey, and then point the boy, you know, and then they will say, oh, look, the #1 student of the year cannot solve this simple problem. This is an example of distraction, of dating. And I was constantly putting this type of pressure. Yeah, but and then
Wow.
my grades were dropping, and then it's like a worse. What is it?
Like vicious cycle, like kind of.
Vicious cycle. It was a vicious cycle until at some point in the last year, I told my mom, so I cannot deal with this. I have to quit. I have to go home and study on my own. So all this time, my mom is very mad at me, right? But then I said, if I want to go do the school, I have to go in my own way. And so my mom had to go to the teacher, and the teacher come to like, if you want to go to Peking University, there's zero chance. But if you want to go to Wuhan University, yeah, go do it. And my mama has to do the signature. And so with that level of pressure, like I was prepared to kill myself if I literally, that's the level of pressure. But I got nothing to lose. I'm going to fight for this. So I'm like studying for my life. But I got into Peking University in the end.
Oh my
So
God. Wow, what a story. Oh my God, I have so many questions because I was in China from like 1996 to 2000. And I guess for people who don't understand, like Western audiences, it's like if you even flirt with somebody before 18, they think you're like from the mafia or something, like you're like some sort of like low class, right? And then after 25, if you're not married, they're like, oh, you're like a leftover. So it's like this just a very like messed up toxic culture. But oh my God, and they literally told you couldn't go to the top university, and then you made it. That's the ultimate fuck you. I love that.
The teacher pointed me.
Did you like, I'm very petty, so like did you go back to the teacher after you got in? And I mean, they must have known, right? Because like, you know, going to college is like a huge deal. What was the teacher's reaction? I'm sure, were they still teaching?
The teacher later will list me as one of his what is the prodigy. Yeah.
That's so messed up. Oh my God. Wow. But was it a guy who like shamed you in front of the class?
Is a man. He is actually he made a reputation of his numbers of Tsinghua and then Beida graduates. Yeah, he holds the highest number, and that's how our school get recognized. That's how the teacher get their bonus. So he's very strict, and he's very proud of that too.
What a crazy, I love this story though. That's amazing. So okay,
so in a way, now you know I'm not a standard good daughter. I caused my parents a lot of headache.
Like that's incredible to me. You're like Superwoman now. It's like, oh my God. And then what was it like going through like university as like what was like Purdue versus Beida? Like what would you say about the two schools?
So in Beida, it's interesting because for me, it's so easy. Like I'm away from home, and then how we studied back in high school in Hubei, right? And then my roommates, they're from the Beijing, Peking from Peking, from like big cities, and they feel like, oh, they have to catch up. And for me, I treat half as what I do, and as I can still do good grades. So I feel like, oh, it's good. And then I will escape class. I will go to the bar district, and so that was very fun. However, you think Peking University is like the best, but the years I went between 2000 to 2004, every night they will lock our dorm room. You're locked in at 9 p.m. And then they will shut the power, and then so you don't have power. And my whole dorm room, 6 of us living in it, is smaller than our RV. We live in bunk beds. It's like prison. It's like
Oh
prison.
my God, that's crazy.
Yeah, and
Wow.
study computer science. So if you don't have electricity, you cannot do your homework, right? So I bought a laptop so that I can have that little bit extra juice to use after they shut the
Right,
power.
right,
And
right.
over the weekend, they don't shut the power. So I would get a loaf of bread. I would stay up 48 hours, no stopping to do my homework so that I have electricity. I study because of the electricity.
Oh my God. Oh my God. This is
Yeah.
incredible. Wow. So
Yeah, but
many
that's
of
yeah. But one thing with computer science though is interesting because China were years behind the US. So when I went to Peking University to study computer science, boys are not so much ahead of girls. It's all new for us. It's not like the boys have years of programming at home before they come in. So we actually start with the same starting point, and we have 12 girls and 28 guys, so 1 to 2 ratio in a computer science major. That's amazing. And the girls are killing it. Like the top 10 students, like 8 were girls.
wow.
So that's very refreshing. I think that gave me some more confidence in like a woman in tech when I come to the US, because in graduate school at Purdue, there are like 120 students. There are 3 women.
Wow.
I know it's very intimidating, but I feel like because I know, like nobody can say you're not good because I know I'm good. I just need to learn my English and all that stuff. So yeah, I think that actually helped me uh coming into a brand new environment. That's overwhelming.
That's so incredible. Wow. This is one of my favorite interviews, seriously. So now they have to learn Chinese to give funding for, their tech projects. So now you
Right.
have both. So oh my God, now it's crazy that you're a comedian. Like literally everything that you've told me is like so amazing. And you're also an amazing comic too. But like what made you decide like one day, like, oh hey, I want to do comedy? What was the part?
Yeah, it's something that I probably never thought about before because I grew up in China. I don't even know what stand-up comedy was. I don't know this art form. And I never dreamed of being a comedian, especially like in an English comedy, because learning English is already hard enough, not to mention humor and
Right.
the cultural reference. But one thing I know is I just say what's off my mind. I always make people laugh. And then I think it's because I surprise people. They never know what I'm going to say. And being a Chinese, I'm very honest. I just say what it is. And then, so that part I always know. But I still never thought about doing stand-up comedy. It just like as my path is so engineering and analytical focused, there's always a part that is very like creativity. I have this desire to be creative. So I love dancing. I wasn't able to dance, so somewhere once I settled my work at a Microsoft, somehow I got into this flash mob thing and this dance group and did yoga. I did the 200-hour yoga teacher training, and I just like somehow the creativity in my mind just like, oh my God, I want to run away, join the circuit, I want to quit this corporate job, and then all that desire just opened up. So I feel like I'm very good at my job. Like at a Hulu, my last job, I actually become a lead. I manage a team of like 6 to 5 super high performer. They are ready to promote me to the senior manager as the next step. But I also know like there's something that I feel is missing. Like I feel after a while I get bored and I have the desire to do creative things. And so 5 years ago, I just made a goal is I want to be 5 years from now on, I want to have a creative pursuit that I do that it's my business. So I'm not just doing it for fun. It will generate income, but I have enough passive income that build up to allow me to pursue that. And I don't know what that is, but I think somehow you plant a seed in me that I want to go to that route, right? I worked hard all my life. I think I deserve to do what my heart desire at this point. And one thing led to another. Okay, this is a thing you can laugh at me. At night, I do this my skin routine. I wash my face. I do my face mask, whatever. I got bored, so I started watching Netflix specials because that's the best thing to watch while watching face.
Yeah.
You don't have to get too addicted. You finish one episode, is perfect. And as I watch more and more, I noticed that I think like a comedian. Like all the things that stuck in my head in the shower are the things that comedians talk about. And so I feel like, hey, one of those days I want to try that. I want to give it a try. So in 2019, I had a New Year's resolution that by the end of the year, I just want to go to one open mic. But because I told people that's my New Year's resolution, like in January, people said, hey, there's a class you can sign up. And I did a class and then started a mic. And then I ended up just doing everything. I was featured in the Northwest Women's Comedy Festival like a couple months after that. So it's really, to me, it's about if you have an idea, you have to dare to think you're going to do it and say it out loud, and the universe would just send you to the right path.
I love that because you hosted Crazy Woke Asians. You're like literally everywhere. You're in New York, you're in LA. What was like your first, did you start off like at your first open mic? Like what was it like? What topics did you talk about? Like just take us through that first open mic experience.
Okay, I actually didn't go to the open mic as the first thing. I signed up for a stand-up comedy class, which they take you about 4 weeks class, and then you write about 3 to 5 minutes set, and you perform. And it's like a graduation showcase. And what I wrote about, I think it just some of the things I collected over the years. I just always it keep happening, right? Like for example, chopsticks. I don't really know how to use chopsticks, and I don't give a shit. I don't know. Do you know? Do you hold it properly?
I don't even know anymore. Like I feel like I still don't even, I don't think about it. You know,
Right.
you just
Okay.
use it.
So my whole family, we hold it like a pencil. And actually, when I use chopstick, it really hurts my hand because when we grow up, my family, they don't have the patience to teach us. We're little kids, right? So we all rebelled. Like everyone in the family rebelled. We hold it like a pencil. And to this day, I can pick up anything. I just don't hold it right. So whenever I go to a Chinese restaurant, all my American friends, they were like, no, we want to use chopsticks. And they hold it like very proper. And I was like, well, give me a fork, please. Like, so I feel like that happens all the time. And I just feel like, oh my God, Americans, like, why do you spend effort trying to learn chopstick when forks are literally easy most of the time? So that's kind of like one inspiration. And then, you know, in China, nobody will ever ask, you know, what type of Asians are you and stuff. But the thing is, in America, people are very sensitive about, oh no, we're not supposed to say it wrong, whatever. The thing is, whenever I meet a Chinese person or whenever I meet a Korean person, the first thing they ask is, are you Korean? And I say, I'm Chinese. And they're so disappointed. I said, no, you look Korean to me. Like both the Chinese is like, no, you don't look Chinese. And the Korean said, what? But I saw you're Korean. Like, so I found it funny because how people in general, they're like very scared. Like, oh my God, I'm sorry, I messed it around. But the Chinese and the Korean, like, they're like, no, you look Korean.
That's a great compliment because everyone's trying to be Korean these days. I feel, you know,
Yeah,
even Chinese people are trying to be Korean. So it's like, I feel like my perception is always Koreans is that they just dress well, you know, and they look great. So I feel like it's this super compliment. And how has the pandemic been for you? Like, how's RV life? What's the past 2 years
RV
like for
life.
you?
Oh yeah, the RV life happened in the middle of pandemic. So it's for me actually it gave me a lot of time to think how I am going to do this thing, because right before the pandemic hits, I was at this point of, you know, I love comedy, but I really do not like the business of comedy, especially how in Seattle it's very still like white male comic dominated, and for women who have a job, to go to a club. Like I would go to a club waiting in line, sometimes get into a mic, but because I'm not their favorite, even though I was there, I sometimes I don't get on the list. You got to know the people, and then sometimes the clubs want you to bartend, to work there, but then because I have my daytime job, I'm not able to do that. Maybe I'm able to help in other parts of the talent, but because I'm not following the traditional way, I don't get the same type of opportunity, right? When the pandemic hits, somehow, so first of all, I take a break. I was very happy. It's like, yeah, I need a break from this toxic comedy business, whatever.
Yeah.
But then because people say, oh, try it on Zoom, I was able to connect with comics in LA. I was able to do comedy without going travel. So like it actually, I'm able to fit into my work schedule better. I'm able to continue to write material, even though maybe the energy is not there. But it's all about expectation, right? Like I'm not there to kill, like I'm not there to get the most joy of whatever, but then I feel like by people honing my skill, writing material, I was able to get coaching from teachers from LA. I studied with Bobby Oliver, she's based in LA, and Judy Carter, I took her class again online. So all this stuff that I would never be able to, and until the pandemic hits. So I feel in a way, it helped me to continue to grow. And by the time when things reopen again, I was doing new stuff. I was ready to go, and so that also helped me to stand out among the comics too. Another thing, yes, the RV thing, because we love travel. It's getting, when 2020 August, that time, the summer is beautiful. I was going a little crazy because every time we go outside, we want to, oh, this summer is nice now, finally in Seattle, let's take a trip. There's no way to use the bathroom. Like to me, it's very practical. I need to pee once an hour. And then when you go out, there's no way around it. And I don't like, public bathroom, it's like a lot of them are closed. So, and then you just don't feel safe. And it's like, what are we going to do? It's from previously we have done some RV traveling. So we're like, you know what, maybe it's time to get an RV. And then we just started one of the weekend. So, well, let's go check out some RV dealership. Let's just look. And I got so much joy just by shopping for RV. You go in, somehow that weekend we did enough research, and then we found this RV after seeing a whole bunch, and then we found this RV. I just, everything we wanted at the price we wanted. And the moment is like, should we just get it? Should we just get it? and then so that's what happened. And then I'm really enjoying this lifestyle. I'll pause here so I don't get too far, but yeah.
This is great. Is it okay if we go a little bit over for the interview? Because
For me, yes. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, because I'm just so fascinated.
I'm having so much fun chatting with you.
I'm learning so much from you because so now you traveled all over. Like what's been your favorite audience to perform for, or most craziest performance over the country?
Yeah, when I'm able to get out of the city, I just have so much experience, because I think on the in the big cities on the coast, people make all kinds of assumptions of rural America. Oh, how people are racist, and how people are mean to you. I mean, I'm sure there are like people who are mean no matter where, right? They're always there. But then like whenever I'm able to see people face to face, they're kind. They're so kind. We have stayed in this place in Albany, Oregon. It's a super cute town. Like it's outside Portland. The restaurants are really good. People are super nice. We hopped into one brewery. They do Harvest Host. So I don't know if you have heard of this thing called a Harvest Host. It's a network for RV travelers. And so a lot of times there are brewery, wineries, museums. They have parking lots. So you can pull your RV to stay there overnight for free if you go there and then buy some of their goods. So some of the winery is beautiful. You're the only person there and you overlook the entire vineyard, you know. So this brewery is just like kind of the countryside, nobody knows, but like people are so nice. So like they let you do a beer tasting, and then we do a show there. And then in, let me see, in Oceanside, right? That's outside San Diego. I did this little set in a winery, like a little winery. And after, there are people just appreciate my show so much, it just dropped out $100. And there you are. I love your comedy. And in Palm Springs too, that have Palm Desert. And in, I'm sorry, I jumped from rural America all of a sudden to Oceanside. So I have to make a distinction. Oceanside is not rural America,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying all the people that I have met on the road, when they come to in person, I can have such amazing human experience. And people who appear that we have nothing in common from the outside, somehow through comedy, they found there's connection in your experience, in your emotions, and then the love and the support you receive is very, very touching. Yeah. And in Palm Desert, in the same way, I met this woman, like she was just so excited to see me as the woman of the only woman on the lineup. And she said, oh yeah, finally. And she put $20 in my pocket. Just go, I haven't even gone on stage yet. She's like, just go kill them. That guy is bombing. I know you're gonna do better than him. I was like, okay, pressure's on, but I'll take the $20. And then she came again, like, you know, another guy bombed. She's like, here's another $20. Go kill them. And I did my set. She's like, here's another $20. Good job.
That is hilarious. Oh my God. Where in Palm Desert did you perform?
That's at the Hood Pizza and Bar.
Oh my God, that's so funny because I
You know
love
the
that
place?
place. Yeah, I think 4 graduates from Palm Desert High School, they pulled together their funds and they started this this place. But I love Hood Pizza.
Oh my God.
What a small world. Wow. And I do want to touch on this a little bit because speaking of money, I think you are probably somebody we should all learn from. Can you touch a little bit about like how you were able to like build your wealth so that you can financially be free to like travel? Like, can you just tell us like how you got there?
Sure. Definitely, because I feel like I don't talk about it often because a lot of comics will say, no, don't talk about people who hate you. You know, but this year I made one resolution for me is like, this is who I am. I came to America with $1,000, right? I'm able to build from zero. That is the American underdog story. So why should I be ashamed of it?
Right.
So after Purdue, I got hired at Microsoft. So it's actually I'm a PhD dropout because I got my master's degree, and then when Microsoft interviewed me for internship, the interviewer said, "Oh, by the way, full-time interview is easier. Intern, we have very high requirements for your English, and you have to perform in a 3-month time. So we asked you very tough interview. Do you want to check that box for full-time?" So I checked the box and I got a full-time job. And then so I quit after that. So at Microsoft, I came in, it's like I don't really know anything. Like finance, like the America's way is very confusing to me, right? Like I've never heard of 401k. What is that? Like stock market, I never need to do it. But then for me, I was just very determined. I am going to be thick skin. I'm going to be shameless. I am going to ask questions. I'm going to learn online. So I try to get a sense about what this all means, starting from zero. But I feel like a lot of times Americans, there's money is taboo. We don't talk about money. And we're like, no, I want to know. I'm curious. And in 2007, I just started working. That's like less than a year working at Microsoft. My Chinese parents, they're like, hey, US house market is very hot. You gotta buy a place. You gotta buy. I was like, I don't know. Like, so somehow they convinced me, they gave me pressure. I bought a condo. And guess what? 2007, I bought at the highest high and the crash happened, right? Like, so I was hurting. I was definitely hurting. I don't really know what to do, but I said, well, I'm just going to sit it out. And at some point, because I lived in a condo. Okay, so this is a very important part. When I left Microsoft, I went to a small consulting company. It's as a business development. It's definitely not as a stable job. I don't get paid as much as Microsoft, but I want to try what's outside engineering for me. The company filed a bankruptcy. I was going to move to San Francisco. So I moved out of my condo in Seattle, so I get it rented out. Then the company filed a bankruptcy. They gave me 3 months severance. That's it. So I moved into a small, very small apartment on Capitol Hill. I'm renting. But that time, because I said I need to save money. I'm not going to spend as much. I'm not going to buy as much. By not working that month, I saved more than when I was at Microsoft. So there was an aha moment. It's not about your salary. It's actually about how you generate, like how you spend your money, how you invest your money. Because I'm also getting rent by not living in my condo, right? So that's like the first aha moment is like, hey, all this time I'm living in my apartment and paying this high monthly mortgage. I'm not even making anything out of it. But now I'm living in a cheaper place. I'm actually making income. I'm working less. So then after a few years, when I bought my second house, I lived in upstairs and I rented out downstairs. And I have to do a lot of work to kind of keep up and make the place ready. But at the time, I figured out the model about living in the place while renting a portion of it out, collecting rent, and while I'm doing home improvement. There's definitely a lot of like sacrifice. A lot of times in the summers, my friends are having fun at Bernice. Why are you being no fun? I'm on my knees painting the wall. I'm doing all kinds of house home improvement projects. But then that also allowed me to have money to save enough to buy another place, and then have a duplex and my 2 sets of tenants. So then I have more like passive income. And right now, when I'm doing RV traveling, I put my place on vacation rental, so then people can stay in a house, and then when I go back, I still have a place to stay. Yeah, and then I'm very frugal. I do a lot of things myself, and then somehow I think one way is for me to look at. I don't want to waste any of the resources. If I have a house, can I rent a portion out when I'm not home? Can I do Airbnb, and do vacation rental?
I love that. This is so inspiring because I've heard the same too, like, oh, you can't talk about money, and like it's so weird. It's like sex and money is so interchanged in China versus America. Like all these comics talk about like just the most, like it's just if bodily fluids is okay, and just like
Yeah.
relationship craziness is okay, but money, oh, it's not okay. Like, do you think there's like a philosophical difference between like China and America in regards to
Yeah,
money?
it's a huge. I mean, because here's the thing, right? In America, almost like it's a socially like not polite to talk about money, but America is all about money, and I feel like it's almost in a way for the company, where like your employer, to build a system around it, so you don't compare what you get, because otherwise, if everybody started to talk about money in the open, the way how America is, I feel we're going to start a revolution. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like people are going to, oh my God, I do the same work and this person got paid me more, protests on the street. I just feel like we're, we build a kind of like a social taboo to prevent some like undesirable changes by the corporation or the big money. Because I feel like the rich people, oh hell yeah, they talk about money. They talk about money among themselves. They talk about how to not paying taxes, right? But then if everybody knows that, I feel like, yeah, so we're using like this brain or convention to restrain us from being transparent about money.
I love that. I've talked to so many Chinese people about this, and they say such similar things. Like it's
Yeah.
just, you're right. We might have a revolution on our hands if people are talking about it freely. So have you performed in China? Do you think you're going to do international comedy? Like, what do you think is the next step for you?
I would love to. I would love to. I did a little bit a comedy in China. It's very strange. I would definitely say it's hard for me. So I did some expat uh comedy at the open mic first because I want to try. Um, I need to switch up everything, right? So it's still in English, and I feel like what I have been focused on is my experience of China. I have to make it that American audience can understand and can relate. So there's a lot of setup. My setup is all about making sure they can relate. But then what I here is like the Chinese audience, they know exactly where I came from, but then what's assumed in common is different. They don't really know everything about in America. Like for example, fortune cookies, they don't know what fortune cookies are, right? Even though it's an expat audience, because some of them, the audience are from Europe, or some of them are from like Africa. And so they don't necessarily share this American specific experience either. So I definitely need to do some tweak. And in China, you have to be a little bit cautious about what you talk about, right?
Yeah.
So definitely I need to put some filter. But I also know, like now that that was 2 years ago, more than 2 years ago when I performed in China, and I just did one mic, and I did a game show. A game show is just like improv. I don't need to do my prepared material. That was actually pretty fun. Now that I feel like I understand the joke structures and how to work a premise in, but you can set up a different ways. I would love to do more for China and international audience, because really, like for me, I feel like it's all about culture, right? And then all the observation I have is trying to bridge the two sides. So I just need to set it up differently. During the pandemic, when I did some of the Zoom comedy in Europe, I did some in the UK, some with German audience, and that hit well too. So I know, yeah, because for me, I don't know as deep into the American culture reference or a lot of specific American culture reference. So I try to use less of that. And because I use less of that, it's actually easier to appeal to international audience.
That's awesome. I love that tip. It makes sense that Germans would resonate with more Chinese humor. I mean, I think I don't know how to explain it, but that makes sense. And how's TikTok been for you? I know you're very active on there. Like, how has that changed the game for you?
TikTok is very interesting. Honestly, I still don't know how it works. I know some, but
I think nobody
I
knows.
don't.
Secret
Right.
algorithm.
It's all the algorithm. I think I have there are times I have met people on TikTok, and they saw your comedy, they were like, and then I say I'm in LA, and then people actually came out and said, hey, we'd love to see you. So that's like a really nice surprise, because I did not really know it's going to translate like fans who will be willing to come out and see you. But regarding going viral, whatever, it's a strength, because I recently have one video. I just did a little bit sketch about I'm in a restaurant in Palm Springs, right? Because I'm in a Chinese fusion restaurant. It's run by white people. They're like super bougie, expensive. I did a little sketch. You have 1.3 million views, and it's only it's only because people thought that was real, and everybody had problem with me being super rude. And people, first there's a group of people who love it, they get it, and then people are like, oh my god, you are rude. And the haters are the one who really make things go viral, because they hate you. They will comment, they will like have like 50 thread, keep on going, and they share it to people. So to me, sometimes like going viral, I don't even really care as much, but it's more about I just hope that I can reach to people more, and they get to know me and be interested in my comedy. I'm going to add more about RV travel, because you know how the algorithm is, like if you have is going viral based on certain type of content, the algorithms just stick with that. Like, so if I have post some stand-up comedy video, they like that. So if I post RV related content, it goes nowhere. But I figured I just have to keep on being more consistent because it's part of my life. I'm doing this comedy thing with RV travel lifestyle, and I know people are interested in that as well. So right now I'm like little transitioning point. We'll see how that goes.
Awesome. I love that. And what are your goals for the future? Like, let's say in a year from now.
So you are very inspiring to me, by the way, because like being able to speak your message. I realize, how you do stand-up comedy. Sometimes it's a drunk club audience. You can get too serious, but then I feel like in my life, a lot of my life story should not be limited to what I can get every 10 seconds or every 15 minutes of laugh. Some of them are a little bit more intense and serious, but that can probably help people more when they're in a difficult time. So one of my goals in this year is actually to get into speaking, public speaking, how I can turn my life story into something useful for other people to inspire them. I'm still trying to find that message, and so I would love to pick your brain and like to chat with you, to learn that from you. I am also started on screenwriting, so I'm writing a feature based on my coming of stories, story of like Gaokao.
Oh my God, that's
those
such
years.
a topic. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like being are you the only child as well?
Yeah.
During that time there's the expectation of your because for me, why I am so I want to be the number one of the school, because I was trying to prove my grandpa wrong, because my grandpa is a very old school man. He had 3 sons, but all 3 sons had daughters, so it was very disappointing us. And he actually went to the countryside, find his like not wife, the concubine. He has a concubine.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay, so he found a concubine's son, so he had the grandson, and he's trying to bring it home, and he's trying to say you guys are not worthwhile. And so there's a lot of that pride in me. I'm trying to prove him wrong, so that all that come together. I'm writing a feature script, and
Wow.
I started last year, and of course doing stand-up comedy and all this is hard. So this year I'm putting my foot down. Like, I want to finish my first draft. I want to work with professional like screenwriter teachers to polish it. So that's another thing I'm working on with comedy. I want to find my voice. I think of course everybody is like, oh, when you have a following, when you have the fame, whatever. I think for me, I want to step back. I want to hone my craft, but also be really authentic to myself. And then ultimately why I want to do stand-up comedy is I feel like first generation immigrant, our stories in America are not well presented. I hear a lot of Asian comics now talk about it's really good to have more Asian American comics, but they just shit on their parents. And I'm like, I'm your parents. I'm the parents that you shit on. Okay. And it's not easy. It's not easy. I want to come out and represent our first generation immigrant, because like we're the one who actually really appreciate America. We actually still, some of us, still believe the American dream. We worked hard to be an American. So I feel like in a world right now when everybody have such like pessimistic view of the future, I want to bring some more positivity and hope, and to appreciate what we have, and then don't lose sight of some of the freedoms we earned.
Oh my God, I love this. I can't wait for, your screenplay to be out, and I wish I could do like a whole damn interview, but unfortunately we're limited. But this is my favorite interview. I'm gonna call it.
Oh my God, it's so fun.
You are. No, seriously, I'm so excited because first generation, I have so many things to say about this topic, but I'll save it for another time. I'll just ask you for an encore. But how can we stalk you? How can we find you? How can we book you for shows?
Well, thank you so much for asking. So on my website is berniceye.com. So yeah, just Y, like Kanye will put it in. Oh, thank you. And you can find me on TikTok and Instagram at Bernice Comedy. So you will find some videos, and then Instagram I also post my show schedule. So please come out, see a show. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Bernice. I had so much fun, and I know the people who are watching learned so much and laughed so much. Thank you for being on the show. I am going to ask you for an encore, but thank you so much for your time.
Oh my God, I had such a great time just chatting with you. Like, it's hard for me to find another person who we have so much overlap and we understand this.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And everyone go to our website, and we will see you on the next episode.